Hello viewers, it's Super GT here again. It's that time of the week where we go to the AOR V8 Supercars League. This is round number 3 at Hockenheim National Circuit. And just one very interesting fact about this track, and that is the curbs are fucking awful. In practice, I've got to say, it was hard work. The curbs around here are just absolutely shocking. You literally touch it and you will just go flying. So you've got to be really careful around this track in these cars. So not only do you have the curb issue, you also have the problem of a lot of corners requiring throttle whilst turning. For example, here you have to be ever so patient, otherwise the car will just go sideways on you. So yeah, it's really tricky to get a good lap around here. In practice, I did a 1:31.2. Which was my best lap. Not much practice, I only did about 10-15 laps, so quite a lot of room for improvement given that the best people were doing low 30s. So this is my best qualifying lap as always. I did it on my second lap, which seems to be a growing trend. I seem to be able to set a quick lap fairly early on in qualifying but then not improve for whatever reason. But yeah, this is my quickest lap. Currently in 7th as it stands at this exact moment here. So as we come around the final turn, again one of the very tricky turns where you're on the throttle whilst turning and a big curb on the exit. Got up to 3rd at that moment, but at the end of qualifying I was 8th. So not the best from me. I was hoping for a little bit better, but let's see what we can do off the start line. Of course, one of my aims is to not stall throughout the whole season, so let's see if I can get away with that. And indeed I do, but that is Shuffle on the in the Mercedes at the left hand side, who does not get away from pole position. I'm going to go through past him and gain 1 position into 7th. I go a little bit too wide over that curb, and this curb here really does slow you down. And this is going to be Shuffle coming back at me into turn 2. STI Callum didn't get a good run through there either, so I'm up his inside. He makes a bit of contact with Oasis, who then goes into Robo, but they managed to sort out their oversteer problems. I'll go a little bit over that curb. Again, the curbs are awful, and you can see I lose a bit of momentum to Callum. So he's going to get the run on me at the outside. That's T6 Bullet on just behind me. Callum just comes across a little bit on the braking zone, but I managed to get through, or side by side with him at least, through this hairpin as we go into the infield left-hander. So I got the outside line just about ahead, so I get the position, get the overtake done, slot into 7th position. So I've gained 1 position so far over Callum, and we're looking at the back of Oasis ahead. So there was a bit of a mix of cars in this game, in this league, should I say. It's been a bit of a shake-up from what I can tell, because last year the Volvos and the Nissans were right at the front, but now we've got more of the Mercedes up the front. Because it's quite interesting actually, because a lot of people were saying that the Mercedes was underpowered because I was using it last year. They were saying I wasn't able to get into the top 4 because of the car, but it's proven here that, well, Shuffle's managed to get this car on the Mercedes onto pole, so it kind of proves that that car can be driven quicker. I just obviously wasn't quick enough myself. So through turn 1 onto lap number 2, Oasis seems to be getting away a little bit from me here. We've got T6 Bullet behind. And of course myself and T6 Bullet had a very good close race in the previous round at Watkins Glen. He just about managed to finish ahead of me nearer the end of the race, and that ahead is Shuffle trying to get past Robo in the green Xbox Ford, a couple of positions ahead there. Doesn't get the job done, but he's still got the inside line here against Oasis into the hairpin, so he managed to keep 5th at least. So Shuffle there will be trying to get back through the pack as quickly as possible before the rest of the guys up front get away too much, so he doesn't want to lose too much time here. So again, coming through this section here is really hard, because you really have to get on the throttle really early to get the best lap times. But if you do get on it too early, the car will just start sliding and you'll lose even more time. So it's very tricky track to get right. This race was an hour long, and it required a lot of concentration for that whole hour to not make mistakes. I did make quite a few mistakes, especially through this section here. The curb on the left there isn't very nice, and the curbs here aren't all that good either. So I got the inside of Oasis into the final turn, and it looks like I've got the job done here. Go a little bit deep, and he taps the back of me. I go a little bit too wide. He's going to come back at me there. Initially, I didn't think that was a fair move because I thought I kind of blocked him off fairly, but then he sort of tapped me wide. But I wasn't too bothered about it. I thought, you know, there's no much point in getting too heated about it. We've got an hour left to run. We might as well just get on with the race so far. So, looking at the back of T6 Bullet now, he managed to leapfrog me there because of my misfortune through that turn. Coming through this section, very hard to get on the throttle and stay on it, committed through that turn. Cars always wanting to oversteer through there. T6 Bullet thinking about defending, but he comes back to the normal racing line. I'm going to go up the inside, and we don't actually make contact, so it's very good driving from both of us. And coming through on the exit, again the car wants to slide out so much through there, but it looks like I've got a slightly better run, so I do a similar move to what I did on Callum on the first lap. Managed to get my position back there. So back into 7th, let's see what we can do from here. Moving ahead to lap number 7 now. So we've caught up with the back of Oasis again, and that is Robo ahead in the green Xbox Ford. The top 4 have pulled away at this point, so 5th is looking like the best result I could have around this track on this race. It's very often the top 4 do pull away in this league, so 5th place is what we like to call first place in Division 2, so we can call that our target, trying to win Division 2 in this league. So looking right at the back of Oasis now, he didn't have the best couple of laps before this one, and you can see they're sliding all over the place. I got the inside, and I was a little bit late, but I was well alongside. And I think sometimes when you're going past people, I know the rule is that the person doing the pass should do it cleanly, but sometimes it does require cooperation from the person being passed. Sometimes they should just yield and go, okay, just have the position. That is sometimes just the most sensible thing to do. If people come up my inside, I will just let them go. You know, it's sometimes better just to let them go rather than lose time fighting it. So lap 13 now, I'm in 6th, comfortable 6th. Well, not that comfortable actually, because now we're going to look behind. And that's T6 Bullet right behind me. I was thinking about defending, but I didn't want to go for it. So he actually comes up the inside with a very well judged move. I was looking for a cutback, but it wasn't on. So that's T6 Bullet through into 6th, and demotes me down into 7th. Not too worried about it at this stage. We've still got 26 and a half laps left. I was thinking my main aim at this moment was to try and catch up with Robo. So whether or not I was in front or T6 Bullet was in front didn't really concern me. As long as we started catching up with him, that was the main aim. So we fast forward to lap number 19, pretty much halfway through the race, and T6 Bullet doesn't get the best exit through this turn. So I got his outside. There's really not much point in fighting it, so I let him go to try and take the normal racing line. But he actually gets this corner a little bit wrong as well, so I go for a cutback, not quite on there. We're just losing a lot of time fighting each other, so just try to yield as much as I could. Now we're entering the pit stop phase, so my tactic here was to just do whatever, the opposite of whatever T6 Bullet does. So if he went into the pits, I would stay out. So he moves over to the right hand side here and goes into the pits, so I stayed out for a lap, just to try and go for a different strategy, just to try and vary it a little bit, because obviously if you just follow him into the pits, there's no way you can get past. You might as well try something different. So going into the pits at the end of lap 20, that's Oasis and Callum following me in on the exit. This is T6 Bullet coming through, so he managed to get a little bit of a jump on me. I was right behind him as we entered the pit stop phase, and now he's gained about 200 feet. Not too much of a big loss, but I was hoping to get past him. Obviously that didn't happen. So again, the race kind of reset itself after the pit stops. We're just trying to gain on Robo once again. And this is the end of lap 23, the start of lap 23, sorry. Robo actually pitted quite late, a couple of laps later than we did. And actually, you can see him just ahead of T6 Bullet there. Not the car directly in front of him, that's the back marker, but the one in front of that is Robo. I think we have gained slightly. The back markers there weren't that helpful in this race. We lapped them so many times. I understand that they're trying to get off the track to try and let us pass, but they lose so much time by going onto the grass that we were lapping them. We must have lapped them 5 or 6 times, and it was a little bit ridiculous in the end. But anyway, moving forward to lap number 31, as you can see there, T6 Bullet has caught up to the back of Robo. I didn't have the best middle stint of the race, should I say. I know the stints are sort of just the first one before the pit stop and one after, but let's say the 10 laps after the pit stop weren't my best, and as you can see there, I lost a good 100 feet or so, and that is Robo making a big error into the hairpin. I kind of see that coming throughout the race, because there was a couple of times I was looking ahead at him and he was going very deep into that hairpin. It wasn't a line that I was favouring. I could see why people do that line, because you can get better exit, but that's the risk you take, obviously, by going too deep. So he's lost that position, so I'm up into 6th, so now I can get 5th here from T6 Bullet. Hopefully, as you just saw just then, he's going very wide into the exit of turn 1, should I say, and by the end of lap 38 this was the situation. So we're going to follow myself for the final lap. Let's see if I can get back past T6 Bullet and try and claim 5th position, which would be about as best as I could get in this race, given that the top 4 are pretty much always quicker. So crossing the line onto lap 39. At this stage my best lap was a 1:30.7, which was an improvement on my my practice time, so I'm actually quite pleased about that. Not a bad lap time at all. Coming into turn number 2, braking just before the AstroTurf, down into 2nd gear, let the car rotate, get close to that AstroTurf on the right hand side to give yourself a flat out run through this left hander if possible. This gives you the best speed down this straight. Tuck in the slipstream, keep it over to the left hand side. You're braking just after the AstroTurf, which is there. Brake here, and I'm going to go quite deep this time to get the better exit. T6 Bullet also taking a very nice line. Go out wide just to make sure the car doesn't slide too much. Come back over to the right hand side, graze the curb, but obviously once you do that, get off the throttle, coming through the right hander, get on the throttle as early as you can without sliding the car out. T6 Bullet not having the best exit there. Coming into the stadium section, get close to the wall on the entry, get over the AstroTurf if you can by 2 wheels. Watch out on the exit, because that gravel really does slow you down. And coming into the hairpin left-hander at the stadium, T6 Bullet having a decent corner there. I get a little bit sideways on the exit, so that slows me down a tiny bit. But this was T6 Bullet's weak corner, if anything. I noticed he was quite slow through that one. Getting very close to overtaking him, trying to put him off, but not quite able to do that. As he comes through the final turn, I'm going to finish 6th. Wasn't quite able to overtake T6 Bullet at the end there. I think I had a good couple of laps at the end there, and I think T6 Bullet was perhaps a bit pressured. He knew that I was coming and made a few mistakes, so I did get a lot closer. So not a bad result in the end. 6th place, not too bad. Improved on my grid position from 8th on the grid at the start of the race. So overall, not a bad race, nice and consistent. Trying to pick up the points, trying to make sure I don't crash out and lose positions that way. So here's the final result. Shuffle winning the race from KP TK92 in 2nd. Sam was the early front runner, but had an accident near the end of the race, finishing 3rd. T6 Bullet in 5th, and Oasis finished behind me in 7th. So he had a good battle with Shadow Demon, I believe, and Robo towards the end. So not a bad result actually. I'm quite pleased with that. My best lap was quite a good one as well, 1:30.7. One of my best that was actually my best lap throughout all of practice and qualifying. And we're going to have a quick look at the results, or the standing, should we say. So KP TK92 still at the top, although Shuffle will have reeled him in a little bit. The point system is a little bit different now, so 150 points for a victory. So the points gaps are a little bit bigger, but as you can see in 5th is me, Super GT, T6 Bullet in 6th, and it's going to go to the wire, I think, between the two of us for that 5th position. It's going to be very close throughout the whole season. So I got out of my game, I guess, if I really want to beat him in that battle for 5th or 1st place in Division 2, as we like to call it. So that's going to be the end for me. If you want to join up the league, join up to this league, remember you can sign up in the link in the description. Just remember you have to read all the rules and try to turn up to all the races as well. And also it's a very quick league, so you have to actually be quite good. But that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more of the same. And hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.